Hello, my little ninjas. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, MOXy. Usually I have a little pre-screen to start, but I'm a little bit out of whack because we did our live show last night from outside because of way too hot yesterday. Today it's a little tiny bit cooler, and I decided to do the show in the normal studio because because there's a lot of stuff to set up outside. Like I said, Craig set up a ton of stuff last night so we could do it, and I just wanted to be here and be able to share a moment with you, because some of you, I guess, look forward to this show. So I look forward to sharing a moment with you each and every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I really do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be out here doing this. Again, the studio is a very warm room. Even though it's cooler today, it's not 90 degrees today. Just a little bit cooler. It's like 80 degrees. So, and in here, it's way warmer than that. Whoa! And my tea's very, very hot. So, that's where we're at. I have a few videos ready to play for you tonight. I have, because I come prepared. I come with gifts. I come to share with you. And what did you bring for me? Huh? It's okay. It's okay. I'm just kidding. So, let's see. What happened today? Oh, just a few minutes ago, there was a dog attack across the street from us. One of the neighbors was walking her dog down the street, who's a beautiful Labradoodle, and I'm sure we've talked with her numerous times. And two dogs came running out of nowhere, and they just attacked her. Like, I heard it happening, and I thought it was a little dog that was being attacked. You could hear like the bigger dog, roar, 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 roar. And then as this other dog is just like squealing. I thought it was a little dog that was being attacked. And I've had this happen a few times, and it's so nightmarish. And never once has it been about my dogs attacking someone else or being fucking aggressive to someone else. It's always been some other person's dog who comes out of nowhere and just attacks, And because they come, and the reason I say they come out of nowhere is because if I could see them coming, I would stop them. And I've gotten in between very aggressive dogs and Rufus, and very aggressive dogs and Sammy, without hesitation, at least a couple times each. And in fact, Rufus had a giant mastiff. He must have been close to 200 pounds, who grabbed him by the throat. And I immediately jumped on top of Rufus to like cover the rest of his body. And it wasn't really his throat. It was like just below his throat on his chest. And it was just like shaking him like a rag doll, right? And I jumped on top of Rufus, and I held him, I hugged him, and I says, "Okay, buddy, I'm right here," and tried to pull him away from the other dog, and kind of wrap myself around him so that if he let go and he tried to bite Rufus again, he'd be on me instead of Rufus, right? And so I with that, like I said, we've had this happen before. It's very nightmarish, and I hope that Labradoodle is okay. And I wish they would have called the police, because if this happens to your dog, you have to call the police, because you have to there needs to be a record of the dog being aggressive, right? Of the dog attacking. And people just walking down the street. There needs to be a record of it. That way, when it happens a second time, hopefully those people will call the police, and then it'll be this like stain on that person's record, because not only did they let the first attack happen, however it happened, then they know for a fact the dog is aggressive. And then if a second attack happens, it's all on the owner. It's really all on the owner the first time too. The second time, it's like, you should know better than this. And so if you ever have to go through that horrid experience, call the cops. And I'm not real big on calling the cops. In fact, I have a story tonight about calling the cops. A local police captain or something, he called the cops on a newspaper man delivering newspapers at like 4 o'clock in the morning. This police captain, or like he's some kind of a head figure, you know. I've seen him many times talking on the news. He called the cops and he said this black man was just in his driveway and he was threatening to kill him, right? This is a cop calling other cops, right? And like 11 cop cars showed up. Calling other cops and saying, hey, this black man just threatened to kill me, right? And he's a newspaper guy who this cop, you know, this sheriff, whatever he is, this commander cop knows. He knows the newspaper guy. And he called the police knowing that when you say this guy just threatened my life and you're a cop, the cops come in hot and they're ready to fucking take care of business. And there's a black man, and it's a black man. So I have that video ready to go for you, and something about murder hornets, and something about the 2001 War Authorization Act, the War Authorization Act, which allowed the Pentagon to go into Afghanistan, and then later into Iraq, and then later into Syria and Libya, and all these other places that we love to go and make dead bodies at. That seems to be on the table to be nixed, in other words, to be halted, to saying, okay, this is enough of the War Authorization Act, and we're going to move on now, which seems like a really good thing. That being said, I'm about ready for a bong hit. I don't know about the rest of you. Also, it's a call-in show, so if you want to call, just call anytime. Personally, I'm not planning on being here all that long. Like I said, it's very warm here, and not only is it warm, but last night we didn't get many callers. It's not only is it warm here, it's warm everywhere. So if you have the chance to be down by the lake, down by the river, down by your pool, dipping your toes into some cool water, I think that's a much better priority than watching a live YouTube stream. So if you have that opportunity, I hope you're taking it because it's warm everywhere. And a little bit of cool water on your feet makes a huge difference. In fact, we were out today doing some gardening, and I turned the hose on and I just started spraying the Boo Bear with it, and he loves that. So we'll get some good footage of that in the next couple days too. Because he won't stop. I just have to turn the camera on him, and that will be fun. So shall we? Let's do that then. Let's have a bong hit. Let's all together now. Let's have a bong hit, and we'll see where we go from there. Should I play a video while I do this? Get the video started? I'm ready for a bong hit, so let's see. I'll play the video. Here, I'm going to play the video about the cop who called the police saying this black man in his driveway just threatened to kill him. I'm going to play that video for you, and you can see and you can understand. This guy was calling the cops to try and get this person killed. Okay, we've seen it happen over and over and over again. The cops are called on a black man who's like, looks suspicious, and the next thing he winds up dead, right? They called the cops on this kid that's walking down to the Quickie Mart to get his brother an iced tea. And the cops were called saying that there's a suspicious person, and they jump on top of him, and then they inject him with ketamine, right? And that kills him. And again, this is where we're at. So this cop called the cop saying, this black man just threatened me, right? And he's like a head cop, right? So this black man just threatened me, and knowing that when the police show up to a threat, they're thinking, okay, this is a dangerous situation. We better get there. Not only is it a dangerous situation, it's a fellow brother in blue calling to say, this person just threatened his life, so you better get down there. Like 11 cop cars show up, and again, this guy, newspaper man, he's a newspaper man, which is a horrible job to start with, nearly got murdered. Because this piece of shit called the cops and say, oh, this guy just threatened me. Well, why don't you grow a fucking sack, and when you see the guy driving away, let it go. And I guarantee you this guy didn't threaten him. Like I said, this is the newspaper man in their neighborhood. This guy, Ed Troyer, this cop, who's like some kind of a lead guy, he's like a head cop. He knows this newspaper man, delivery man. And I don't know what's happening there, but this is what I keep saying about fucked up cops. Okay? They're fucked up in the head. They're suffering from PTSD. Not that everybody who's suffering from PTSD is fucked up in the head, because basically I see our whole country as suffering from PTSD. Our entire, every bit of our population is suffering from PTSD at this moment. And again, this is what I keep talking about Jackie Cat doing a better job as president. And I'm not trying to put her down. I mean, she could have done a better job as president than Obama, than Hillary Clinton, than all these people that people just worship. George Bush, Donald Trump. Jackie Cat could have done a better job than all of them put together. That being said, and the reason I bring that up is because this is where our country is that everybody is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, everybody. Your children are suffering from it at this point with the plague. Everybody's suffering from it. And why? Because of our leadership, because of our government, because no one's acting like, hey, this isn't how people should live. People shouldn't live, with post-traumatic stress disorder. People should be happy and relaxed and enjoying what there is to enjoy. And I don't hear anybody saying that. I hear, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. And if that's the way it is, then of course you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's not actually post. It's this traumatic stress disorder that's going on every day, all day, throughout our fucking, everywhere we look, I have a video about it. Let me play this video. Hold on. I'm gonna get the bong ready, and we'll have a bong ready. Check this out. This is all about the stress that's around us all day, every day.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. keep it Brightside.
All right, so I got my bong all heated up. Let me get a little bit of lovely golden goo on my little glass stick so that we can enjoy a fatty bong rip together. Doesn't that sound nice? On a warm summer day? I'll tell you, I've had some bong rips. I had a bong rip one time on a warm summer day, and my head just went, whoa. I'm like, I can't stand up. I remember. Well, let me have this puff, and I'll tell you what else I remember. Hopefully, if I don't forget it after the puff. I remember this one time. It was really, really, really hot, and we were just visiting a friend at the hospital, and where we used to smoke weed, we'd go into the hospital, and we. My friend was there, and he's smoking a joint, and it's on this fucking 3-foot long roach clip, which he then passes to the bed next to him. And I'm just like, I like this place. So we smoked some weed there, and then we went down to get in the car, and it was like 90 degrees, like 100 degrees in the car, right? Hold on one sec. All right. So we went to the hospital, visit a friend, and we smoked a joint up there in his hospital room, which was really good. And then we came downstairs, and we're all fucking loaded. And we get in the car. It's like 90 degrees outside. Inside the car is like 110. You know, like, get the munchies real bad all of a sudden, right? And somehow I had a tube of saltines. You know how these saltine crackers come like individually wrapped in a tube? Right, I had a tube of saltine crackers, and I was like, munchies. And we started eating the saltine crackers, and it became like cement in our mouths, right? It's just like, because you had the cotton mouth, the heat, and then the saltine crackers. Hilarious. The good old days. Back when saltine crackers only cost a penny. Do you know how much saltine crackers cost now? I have more videos. Unless you'd like to call and have a discussion. I might as well play more videos then. I have the video about the local cop who tried to get a black newspaper delivery man murdered. Okay, and when you listen to this story, you'll understand that's what he was trying to do. Okay, this is a cop who's trying to get other cops to kill a black newspaper man. In my opinion, that's exactly what happened. And again, this shows, you know, what kind of danger to the community these people are. And this is a person in the upper ranks, you know. These are dangerous fucking pit bulls, you know, rabid and ready to take anybody out at any time for absolutely no reason. Okay, that's who the police are. So please listen to this closely and understand this could happen to anyone.
A newspaper carrier wants at least $5 million tonight after claiming he was racially profiled by the Pierce County Sheriff.
He also says he was falsely arrested and subjected to unnecessary and excessive force. KOMO's Joel Moreno is live with the new legal claim and what the man's attorneys are saying tonight. Joel?
Molly and Preston, lawyers for Cedric Altheimer say his constitutional rights were violated. Those lawyers say that an officer came at him pointing a gun after Sheriff Ed Troyer called for backup, and they say the only thing he did was be a black man in a white neighborhood. In the midst of his newspaper delivery route, Cedric Altimer, whose face we previously blurred, found himself surrounded by police officers. He was frisked and questioned about whether he threatened to kill Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer, something the sheriff told a dispatcher.
He was in my driveway, in my neighbor's driveway, and he knows who I am, and he threatened to kill me, and I got him blocked in.
Altimer insists he never threatened the sheriff and has filed a claim for damages for at least $5 million, saying he was racially profiled. Troyer says he was simply following a suspicious vehicle in his neighborhood and didn't know the driver was black. Altimer's attorneys discount that, saying the sheriff provided extensive details to the dispatcher.
So we saw this man closely enough to notice this level of detail. It defies logic to believe that he didn't know his race.
Altimer also says the time he spent detained while police sorted out the stories amounts to false arrest.
That's all it takes to comply with our statutory definition of false arrest.
Troyer issued a statement that reads in part, "I welcome a complete, full, and independent investigation. My office and I will be fully cooperative." Altimer's lawyers say he is still shaken by the experience and feels fortunate he wasn't shot. The claim for damages is the first step toward a lawsuit against Pierce County. County officials have 60 days to respond. Back to you.
Joel, thank you. Aside from this civil claim, Sheriff Troyer faces 2 other investigations. The state attorney general is undertaking a criminal review, which remains ongoing. Pierce County has a separate investigation being handled by a former U.S. attorney. That probe is looking for any evidence of bias or misuse of authority. It will also recommend discipline if violations are found.
I hope that guy gets every penny of that $5 million bucks, and I hope that Ed Troyer cocksucker either spends time in jail, gets fired, has a lawsuit against him, or all of the above, because he deserves all of the above. Okay, he did something. This is an obvious abuse of power, right? And it could have got someone really, really hurt badly. So it's unfortunate that this is the kind of police that we have. And this guy's in the upper echelons of the police. You see that smile on his face? He's got his head all tilted. He's like, I'm just here having fun. Fuck that guy. He's not fun. He is not fun. And, regardless of what he thinks in his head, I guarantee you he's not happy. Because happy people would never act this way to someone that you already know. The newspaper delivery guy's like, he knows me. He knows me, to the cops that showed up on the scene. You don't just say shit like that out of nowhere. I hope he gets every cent of that $5 million that he's asking for. Now, that being said, who I'm really sorry for, who I really feel sorry for, is Britney Spears, right? Poor Britney Spears. She works since she was a little kid so hard. I mean, her fucked up parents treated her like a slave, making her do this fucking Mouseketeer bullshit. And then she's like, oh, I gotta do this TV show and that TV show, and now I gotta be a big singer. And it's like, and from year one, she make more money than her parents could ever imagine making themselves together. And then all of a sudden now her dad is in charge of all of her funds, and she makes she has a gig at one of the Las Vegas casinos where she makes $20 million a year just to sing at this Vegas casino, which I'm really glad that she has, because I think if she had to travel on top of all this other bullshit, speaking of PTSD, that she probably wouldn't make it. So, but she's in the court right now, and hopefully she'll get control of her funds again, or someone who's actually on her side, not her fucked up father, who worked her like a fucking slave when she was 12 years old, And now he wants to control her money and does control her money? Fuck that shit. Britney Spears deserves better. I think that'll be the title of the show tomorrow. Britney, save Britney. All right, you guys can see the number at the bottom of the screen, right? It's 805-669-6397. 805 MOX News. It's okay. Don't call. I'll be out of here quicker that way. I'm good with that. But I'm not good with people fucking with Britney. You know, it's just that she already's having a hard enough time. You know, she doesn't need to be constantly reminded of it through the fact that she has to ask people for money if she wants to go buy a car or something. It's her money. She shouldn't have to suffer that kind of traumatic stress. You know, she earned it. If she wants to go buy a car, if she wants to go buy a fucking Caribbean island, it's her money. Fuck you. And you know why her dad has to have conservatorship of her money? Is because he doesn't want her blowing it all. You know? Again, it's her money. She should have the right to live the way she wants to live. With her money. So, I genuinely hope that Britney has better days ahead. Because it's been a hard road for her. Mouseketeers do not have the best of lives. So, let's see. Where were we at? Oh, right. I have more videos. If that's something that you're interested in. Again, I hope that you guys are off enjoying dipping your toes into cool water on a creek or river or lake or your pool or somebody else's pool. I hope you get that chance because it's a scorcher out there, man. And I got a feeling it's going to be this way for many, 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 many days this summer. So, I mean, this is just the beginning of summer. So, we're in for quite a fucking run, which I look forward to. I'm looking forward to a late summer. I'm thinking about starting a few more plants, except for I'm out of soil. Thinking about starting a few more plants since, you know, we're going to have a late summer and the plants that I would be starting are supposed to finish within 90 days if it stays hot and dry. It doesn't have to be hot, just needs to be dry. See, the rule in Seattle, in the great Northwest Seattle, this area, is that you need to have your plants in by the first week of September. So September 8th, basically. Because after that, the sun goes down too low. You don't get enough sun, basically. And it's just too wet outside. Especially since you're kind of in the middle of your flower season right then. Although I have a couple of seeds that are supposed to be, weather resistant, so to speak. And I don't think we'll grow them this year, but maybe next year. And I have a bunch of autoflowers. So I'm thinking about starting another round of flowers. I wish I could get a little bit further forecast, like what it's going to look like in August, you know. Anybody know that website? Because if I knew what the sun was going to look like around the end of August, the first couple weeks of September, I'd probably start a few more plants. Except for I'm out of soil. How can you not afford dirt? You know, that's dang, I can't think of it now. There's a saying about being a dirt farmer that I never used to get, except for now I understand that the poor can't even afford dirt. So I wish I could remember what that saying is. Oh well, it'll come to me. It always does. Sometimes 6 hours later. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play another video because I brought videos and I'm prepared, and apparently no one's interested in having a conversation with me this evening, which is fine. Like I said, I hope you have better things to do. I honestly do. On this scorching hot evening, how hot is it where you are? How about that? We'll do that question tomorrow. How about that? The tomorrow night show will be, how hot is it where you are? Right? That sounds like a good title, don't you think? If I see one of you steal that title and do a show tomorrow before we come on, man, I'm coming to you in your dreams. And they're not going to be dreams you like. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. What is this clip about? Oh, the War Authorization Act coming to... Well, they're talking about voting on it in Congress and whether they want to end it, which is seriously doubtful considering that Congress is controlled by the military-industrial complex and that 90% of the sitting members of Congress are war profiteers. So I don't know why you'd want to chop off your left foot, in order just to make yourself look pretty, because you're not going to make yourself look pretty without a left foot. Not that, actually, I will say that there's some very, very, very hot women who don't have a left foot, and I don't want to disparage. I don't want to say negative things about lovely people who don't deserve that, So I wanted to make sure that you know that there are women who don't have a left foot, and they can be quite beautiful. Probably both ways. Either way. Either way. You have a caller or something? Okay, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fine.
Good.
It's fucking hot, man. How the fuck you think I'm doing?
Sounds like you're miserable.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. My last 2 days have been a nightmare. I have no computer right now. I tried to turn my computer on Sunday. It wouldn't start, no power, blah, blah, blah. So I ran around today and looked for an adapter, and it was just a nightmare. The adapter that I purchased doesn't work. So I have to go to a computer repair shop tomorrow. It's one of my favorites. It's like going to the hospital with your dogs, right? It's your brain, fixing your brain.
Did you tell Craig this stuff? Because he's got stacks and stacks of computers, dude.
Yeah, I think I went to this. It's a local small businessman. He does like MacBook repair, exactly what I need. So I'll go and talk with him. He'll give me a free consultation.
Oh, you do? You do Apple?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It has its pros and cons, right? One of the pros is that unless you want extra software, you don't have to really fuck around with the software. It doesn't crash very much. Like, the computer very, very rarely crashes.
Well, I don't know how you can possibly have a computer and not want extra software. I mean, from day one for me, I haven't been able to do computers without tons of extra software. But yeah, I don't know anything about the Macs. I just know that that's not the way I was taught. I can't imagine wanting to go to it. Go ahead.
Well, traditionally, growing up, I heard they were really good for like graphic design and for art, but in terms of like a functional machine, it doesn't break very much. I mean, when it breaks, but like it doesn't crash while you're using it. That's just what I've noticed. I used regular PC laptops for 10 or 15 years, and very frequently they would crash. So I was just tired of that. And usually I just write anyway. I'm just writing and using a browser. So, and a couple of Word software programs. Really simple stuff. Anyway, that was a nightmare, and it's going to continue tomorrow. Oh, right. I mean, this was the kind of day I had, right? I made an appointment to have the oil changed in my car, right? I made it yesterday. I go to the place to get the oil changed in the car today. At the time the appointment was at 2 o'clock, the guy looks at me. He's like, I don't have a lot of techs around here today, and I can do your oil now, but change your oil now, but it'll take 2 hours, or you could reschedule it for tomorrow. Like, wow. It's like one of those days, everything was off a little bit.
It's going to get worse. The people aren't used to this kind of heat. The heat's going to go up. It's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be like,
but at the oil change place, Mike.
Yeah.
People they weren't wearing masks. I mean, that's something I noticed right away. Everybody seemed to be comfortable talking with each other in the little auto shop.
Dude, you should go to the casino. It's packed. Nobody's wearing masks.
Yeah. Anyway, there were 2 news stories that I wanted to share, and I don't have a computer, so I'll just share them with you. I discovered them today. One was from StopTheDrugWar.org, and it was an update about what's happening in Mexico. So the Supreme Court, they have the Supreme Court. One of the Supreme Court justices in Mexico is pissed off because the Supreme Court made a mandate to the legislature in Mexico that they would fix the law and legalize marijuana as soon as possible. That was the mandate that was given by the court to the legislature, and that was 3 years ago in 2018. And this justice said this is ridiculous, and the Supreme Court is now considering whether they're just going to abolish the law outright without the Congress at all, because the Congress isn't abiding by their mandate. And if you remember, last spring, 6-8 weeks ago, the Senate in Mexico, it seemed like they had passed the legislation, and all it really needed to do was be signed by the president, Obrador or whatever, and it was done deal. So I don't understand why the Congress in Mexico is dragging its feet.
Black market.
Unless they're getting pressure from the drug cartels.
Yeah.
So that's going on in Mexico right now, and that's kind of good news. At least their Supreme Court.
Yeah, no, that's great news.
They're going to pressure the Congress. And the other story, Mike, I saw on CNN, and then I also saw it at antiwar.com, and apparently the Justice Department and the FBI have seized the domain names of several companies, 20 or 30 companies, including Press TV and 2 or 3 other media outlets from Iran. And they seized the domain names, which means, they're not going to be able to have their website in the United States anymore. And they didn't say why. It just happened, and they didn't give any kind of explanation. And people in the media were speculating about why it happened. Is this to put pressure on Iran for the nuclear deal that they're negotiating? Is this a signal from Washington, D.C. to their new hardliner president, Or is this just, again, trying to keep the American public oblivious of any other side of the story? Which makes sense to me, right? We never want to hear the other side of the story. That's U.S. state-sponsored propaganda. Can't stand the fact that the Iranians can post their own stories and their own interpretation of the news.
Yeah.
So anyway, a couple of those websites disappeared today.
I did see a little story about that. I didn't see a lot about it. I'm gonna look to see what else I can find. I didn't get a chance to check the Israeli news. I'm sure that they'll talk about it. And I think that that's probably some kind of a war crime, because there's rules about shutting down media outlets. You can't, like when they bombed the Al Jazeera station in Gaza, that was a war crime. Clearly, when Israel bombed this in the last few weeks, Israel bombed the Al Jazeera, the AP building. It was the AP and the Al Jazeera. Right. That's a war crime, because you're not allowed to try and silence the media. So I think that what we're seeing by whoever it is that sees that, whichever government agency sees that, which was a U.S. government agency, that's a war crime that they just committed, and like you said, you have to wonder why they're doing this, right? Because we've been on the edge of war with them for a long time, and those people don't want war with us. They're ready for war with us. They're very, very ready for it. They don't want that. Nobody wants that. Okay? It's like we're this big bully who's fucking walking around stomping on everybody, and here's Iran, and all I'm saying is Iran's ready for the big fat bully, and Iran's gonna kick his ass.
Yeah, Iran also will develop military alliances with Russia and China as well.
Oh, well, yeah, if you go to war with Iran, you're going to war with Russia and China. Russia has already stepped up their activities in Iran. So, what was that?
Yeah, so that's the big deterrent. There was one other story from antiwar.com that I read today, and that was apparently American troops in Syria encroached into a Russian area. That there's Russian-controlled areas in northwest Syria, and there's American-controlled areas in northwest Syria. Donald Trump wanted to take the oil fields, so to speak. That was the jargon in the media. So there still are soldiers there, right?
Yeah.
And some patrols crossed over into Russian territory, and the Russians forced them to turn around and go the other direction because they weren't in the right space. And that happened today. And that just highlights, or happened yesterday, but that just highlights how dangerous it is, right? Where if some soldier, 20-year-olds aren't known for keeping their cool all the time, and when you put 20-year-olds in this situation where they're armed and they've been trained in how to respond, it's probably really easy to just have some kind of situation escalate where some people could get killed, and that could even escalate even more. So I don't see any reason why we have U.S. troops still in Syria at all. It's ridiculous. Donald Trump, he didn't take them all out of Syria. He could have done us a favor. If he knew this, if he knew the Democrats could win at all, he could have done us a favor and gotten all the troops out of there. But now Joe Biden, he was for the overthrow of the Assad regime, so I don't imagine those troops are going to be coming home very soon.
Yeah, Donald Trump could have done a lot of things that would have changed where the United States stands in the world. It would not have been difficult to do. If you're a real leader, you go, we're dropping all charges against Julian Assange. Boom. We're dropping all charges against Edward Snowden, and then brought them to America and given them the Medal of Freedom. Because that's what real freedom is. That's what the real freedom of the press is. And instead of celebrating that in the land of the free, we make those people into criminals, saying, in the land of lies, truth is treason, right? And those people were definitely considered treasonous, at least by the mainstream media and all the politicians. That being said, Donald Trump could have done a lot of things that would have been better. Joe Biden could do a lot of things he's not going to do either. So, and those are little baby steps that I talked about. Go ahead.
I think Joe Biden is more entrenched in the sense of we could have expected something unique from Donald Trump because he was perceived as a wild card. Although I don't really think he was a wild card. I think he was really kind of perceived more that way, right, than he really was. But there's no way on earth that Joe Biden is going to move out of the ruts in the middle of the road, because that's his whole political career is riding those ruts and never getting outside of what the expected path is. That's his whole program.
It seems like what all these people's program is. All the politicians, they know just where to go to touch those nerves of the people that they're talking to, so that that's all they hear is this person who's saying the right thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
So, where is Donald Trump right now, Mike? what's the deal with Donald Trump? I mean,
last
what's
I
going
heard, he
on with
was in
Donald Trump?
Florida. You know, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But I mean, I haven't heard a comment about him over Russia or Iran or anything. You know, I haven't about the economy.
He's doing he's been doing pretty regular Sunday morning interviews. Probably little lesser known spots. I don't know, but he's been doing some media conversations pretty regularly. So at least once a week or so for the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that, 8 weeks.
Cool. Well, I'm going to. It's not that bad right now outside. It's about 70 degrees and it's kind of cool. Feels nice compared to how warm it was earlier today. Well, so it was like 90 degrees in Seattle today.
It was fucking hot. I don't know. It was fucking hot, man. We went out early and it was like, I got to get the dogs home. I got to get the dogs home because it was just too hot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna listen to the rest of the program on the Wi-Fi on my phone since my computer isn't working, and I hope the rest of your program goes well.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling, Chris. It's always good to hear from you.
Yeah. Have a good night, Mike.
Thanks for the info. All right, so that's Chris from Olympia. He does have a lot of info. He always has a lot to offer. I love hearing about the drug war. It's one of the most important issues of our time. And I understand why some people might not get that. It's about freedom. It's about criminalizing people for being human. Okay, all these things that they say are now illegal in the drug war, all of them, humans have been doing them for 1,000 generations. 1,000 generations. And then all of a sudden we come to the last 5 or 6 generations and it's like, oh, you can't be human. We're going to throw you in prison for being human. So I somewhat despise the drug war. I just, how can you criminalize people for being human? Okay, this is the big question, and that's why the drug war has to go. You know, if we end the drug war, we save so much money, and we spend 1/10 of that money helping people, addicts who need help, instead of jailing 20 times that amount of people and ruining their lives and costing us trillions of dollars because somebody's making a profit off of it. It's got to end. It's one of the biggest issues of our time. And so that's why I'm always glad when Chris calls and he's got drug war stories for us. Among other stuff. Like I said, he's always got interesting information. I have more videos, but I'm waiting to see if this tiger gets a kid. Oh, he almost got him. What tiger? I don't know what tiger you're talking about. Fucking tiger! I don't need another bong hit unless you want one. So, as I was saying, freedom, freedom. I really just want the best for everybody. I really just want to have a conversation. I really just want to understand where people are at. You know, we used to have this amazing conversation on my YouTube pages. It would on some videos, the discussion would go 1,000 comments deep. Probably, I think some of them had like 10,000 or more comments. I don't know if that's a lot, but I know that there was a discussion going on, and I don't think it was all just trolls trolling. I'm sure a little bit of it was that. But I set examples of trolls again and again and again. So anybody that was part of the conversation or paying attention, understood that it's not that difficult to deal with the troll. They're sticky. You want to be careful. But you do the 1-2 punch and then you step away from them and you don't step back in. That's how you deal with the troll. Or you can just block them. But I don't do that because everybody's entitled. I don't want to, talk about freedom and freedom of speech and hold these things as if they are treasures that we're lucky to have. The direction our freedom is headed is, prison. That's what I see happening. It's just more comply or die police state. I see it getting bigger and bigger and stronger and less accountable. Even though we're hearing about all these cuts and everything, it's not happening. Okay, the cuts are like, oh, well, we didn't give you your 50% increase in money this year. Instead, we're only giving you, instead of your $50 million increase in budget, we're only giving you $20, $30 million increase in budget. What? And as far as the crime rate going up, this is what we're talking about as far as cops are concerned. They're not doing their jobs, or they're just not effective at doing their jobs. So we need to find a better way. And the drug war is a big part of it. So we can get to a better place. We can have our toes floating in the water. We can actually be looking out for each other instead of at each other's throats, because that's where we're at right now. Not you in particular, not me in particular. I see lots of groups at each other's throats, acting like they're the only one who's right. And we need to come together. We need to get beyond these little disagreements, which might not be so little, but we need to get beyond them so that we can address the common enemy.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, how are you?
Good. So what's today's topic?
I don't know. What's your topic?
Well, it's here about back in London, Ontario, in Canada. There was a collision. They were saying this dude intentionally tried to kill the Muslim family.
When was that?
I think 2 weeks ago, roughly. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
What's your take on it?
Crazy people. Okay, this is one of the other big issues that's not being addressed is mental illness. Okay, if you think that you should go and kill someone, you need to get help. Okay, that's not how humans are supposed to be.
Okay, I agree. I agree with that. But let me make something clear. The guy killed. Well, they said he killed the family. I think it was like 4 people because they were Muslim. But how can the media say, because he was white, how can the media say he killed that family without even knowing, details? They just, the liberal media just saw a white guy run over 4 people that were, I guess, Muslim, and they make this story up that it was hate crime, it was terrorism, without any evidence. What's your take on that?
Well, they want to make everything terrorism. I keep saying this as like, protesting is now terrorism. If you don't get the vaccine, you're pretty soon they're going to start saying you're a terrorism. If you speak out against whatever the mainstream media or the official story is, you're considered a danger to everyone at this point. So it's just a matter of hype. Although, if someone intentionally killed someone, again, this is a mental health issue. And
Yep.
that's the big problem of what's not being addressed. You know, they can put whatever
Exactly.
label you want on it, as long as you don't address the non-existent mental health in the middle of a mental health crisis. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, everybody in this country, young and old, everyone is suffering from post-traumatic stress. Okay, I believe that 100%. So, and then we got zero mental health care priority on top of that. So yeah, people are going to lose it. You wait until it starts being 110 across the country, and you see how many people start losing it then. Because I'm telling you, there's a good chance it could get ugly after this last fucking round of bullshit with the plague.
Yeah. What's your take on the vaccine?
I don't have a take on the vaccine.
No, like, are you personally willing to get the vaccine?
I'm not getting the vaccine. I have a medical
You're not?
excuse. I have a medical excuse. I'm not getting the vaccine.
Okay. And do you feel the vaccine, aside from yourself, for the general public? Like,
I don't have
do
an
you feel
opinion.
like
I don't have an opinion about the vaccine on the general public.
So you don't care if people take them or not?
It's not up to me. You have to look at the data and decide for what's best for you, what's best for your family, what's best for your children. You know, it's not a matter of what my opinion is.
Yeah, I respect that, and I do understand. But, like, what I was trying to say is it too early to say this vaccine is suitable? Is there side effects?
I'm not a medical professional, okay? I play stories all the time about side effects that are happening in very, very rare instances. So I'm not a medical professional. I'm not here to give medical advice. Eat cannabis every day if you want to be healthy. I wouldn't give medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. I don't have an opinion on what is best for you and your family. Eat cannabis every day.
Cannabis. Is there actual positive results from eating that? Like, isn't it bad for you?
No. It's going to make you much, much more relaxed. Again, it's one of the main things, antidotes to the post-traumatic stress from which we're all suffering. The Pentagon has just recently okayed the use of cannabis in states where they have medicinal cannabis. They just okayed it for veterans because of all the, to deal with their post-traumatic stress. So that's why I'm saying the whole country is suffering from post-traumatic stress, and you should be eating cannabis because it will help a lot, and there's not going to be any mental health services to help you. So this would be a step in the right direction for 90% of you, just to take the stress off. As in post-traumatic stress. Go ahead.
Yes, now I understand the use of cannabis. What's your take on the use of alcohol? Would you be willing to drink alcohol?
No, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drinking alcohol for a long time.
What's the difference between alcohol and cannabis? Are you still not going to be coherent after
I'm not going to be coherent at all. After 2 shots of vodka, I'm on my hands and knees, trying to hold on to the ground, onto the earth, so that I don't fall off. Okay, so here's the deal. Alcohol is the number 1 date rape drug in the world. Okay,
Hold on. What?
Alcohol is the number 1 date rape drug in the world. Every single night, every single day, 1 million women around the world get raped because they had 1 drink too many. Okay, number 1 date rape drug in the world. If you don't tell your daughters this, you're making a huge mistake. Number 2, alcohol is directly related to all kinds of forms of cancer, especially breast cancer. And number 3, the BBC, as in the British Broadcasting Channel, just did a news study, an investigation, in which they found 10% of all deaths around the world are directly related to alcohol. 10%. Okay? So, no.
10% is not that much. It's not that much.
It's a huge amount of people.
Maybe what, like 10,000 people?
No, 10%. A million people alone in India die every year just from lung cancer. A million people a year. Okay, so 10% of a million is 100,000. That's just in India, and that's just the people who die from lung cancer.
But you know, those Indians are smoking consistently.
Yes, I know. They smoke constantly.
And there's no health regulation.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of regulations they have.
No, I don't think there's any health, regulations.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I'm sure they have all kinds of regulations. That's the way bureaucracy works, and I'm sure there's giant bureaucracy in the Indian government. The government of India.
The Indian, yeah. Now, with the whole situation with Joe Biden, do you feel like he's going to be president in 4 years?
No. No.
You think Donald Trump's
He's not going to be president in 2 years, dude.
Why not?
Because he's a doddering old fool who will say something really, really, really stupid and inappropriate, which he's already done since he became president, and someone will go, "Oh, Joe had an episode, and we have to like step him down and put Kamala Harris into the place." Okay, so he's not going to be president in 2 years.
Okay, I understand, but listen, I'm going to make 2 points. Joe Biden, people saying he's having episodes and whatnot. No, Joe Biden, he struggles with the whole constant attention, him on social media. It's tiring for him. He has to consistently post on social media. He has to go on television. It's struggling. You try to, be awake 26 hours in a day.
I wish I could be awake less than 26 hours a day. I have a really difficult problem sleeping less than 26 hours. I have a really hard time getting sleep. So I'm sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that Joe Biden sleeps better than I do. There's no doubt in my mind.
I'm sure he does, but I'm sure he sleeps better. But hey, he's not eating cannabis plants, right? And you're saying you're having benefits, but you can't even fall asleep with these cannabis plants.
Since I was 10 years old, I don't sleep. I'm not look, when I was 10, I was mad because they would say, "It's bedtime." I'm like, "Who the fuck are you again?" And they said, "It's bedtime." And then they'd send me to bed, and I'd sit there and I'd stare at the fucking ceiling for hours and hours and hours and hours. And it fucking...
And see, and listen, I understand, but see, that's what made you who you are. You were against the man. You were against your parents, who were technically the government of the house, and now you're against the government. So you are a definition of a man. I'm not going to lie. I like the rebellion.
I'm against people telling me what to do. I'm an upright, walking, semi-sentient being. Okay, and I don't need you to tell me how I'm supposed to act, what I'm supposed to say, what is okay not to say, what is okay to say, what I can put in my body and what I can't put in my body. Just stay the fuck out of my life unless I hurt someone. If I hurt someone, you come and get me, and that's fine. I completely understand that. But, if I'm not bothering anybody, stop babysitting me, okay?
I'm not gonna lie. I like that because I'm not like you, and I'll be straight honest. And maybe people are watching this right now on TV, but I still have my mother help me out with a lot of stuff.
With
so
what?
I'm not.
What does your mother help you?
My mom's helping me out.
With what?
School, school,
That's
allergy tablets,
that's a great thing, dude.
stuff like that.
Your mom, I mean, look at the biggest influence in my life, I'm certain, with my mom. Okay, she's the one who protected me when I've been like this my whole life, where it's like, yeah, fuck the man. You're not the boss of me. I can remember, in kindergarten, first day of kindergarten, looking at the fucking principal and telling him, you're not the boss of me. And so that's how I've been my whole life. And if because of my mom protecting me, that I was able to be that person. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure. So don't feel bad about your mom, helping you. She's gonna get you where you need to be, man.
Yeah. Hey, can you give me like 1 minute, 2 minutes? Like, am I able to stay on the line if I just?
I think we got another caller. So.
Okay, so I'll just make my closing statement. Hey, I respect you. You're doing good. Your coverage is great. I know, like, you're rebelling against the system, and that's good. I respect that, man. And just like the hobo niggers, hope.
What do you think it is that is accomplished there? Because, I knew the whole time I was waiting for that to happen. We all know that person's voice. We know that it's coming. You can hear it in his voice. Even if we didn't recognize the voice, you can hear it in the voice. At the same time, I thought, I want to be able to answer a lot of these questions. I'm not afraid of questions. I'm not afraid of people saying stupid shit like that. Again, you want to know who these people are, who would talk like that, who would act like that. And that's partially why, in the many years that I've been doing YouTube, I haven't blocked a bunch of people. Because you want to know who that person is. If that person is a fucked up troll, and you can see it in all of his comments, messing with people, then you go, yeah, I'm not talking to that fool. That person has a problem. And again, that's important information to have. Know what I'm saying? So, I'm not afraid of this. My whole life I've been dealing with this. When I was had the #1 watched late night television show in Seattle, it was a live call-in show for about a year, a little bit more than a year. It was a live call-in show, and then we switched to tape. But and we do live shows from time to time. But it was a call-in show, and the conversation was awesome. And then you get a troll, and you'd be like, okay, whatever. But what I'm saying is, this is not something new. It's so you can call and troll me all you want. It's better than not getting a call. The live show we used to do in Seattle lasted 28 minutes, and we do like 30 phone calls. And it's not because I was hanging up on people. Hello, caller!
Joe Biden got more votes than any president in U.S. history, Mike, and you are just disrespecting him on national TV.
No.
Joe Biden doesn't smoke marijuana. Joe Biden doesn't need to smoke marijuana. And
Joe Biden needs to eat marijuana.
And alcohol is one of the ways which I got laid when I was 15. It's like the old lady would give me alcohol, and then she would jump on me when I wasn't looking, and she looked like Kamala Harris, and it was a wonderful experience. And Joe Biden.
Are you trying to make me vomit?
And Donald Trump attacked America on January 6th and almost broke America. And Joe Biden got 80 million votes, more than Obama, more than George Washington, more than Franklin Roosevelt, 80 million million votes, and thank God for the intellect and the just overwhelming sharpness of Joe Biden's mental capacity, because now America is safe and we have an open country where everyone is free. They give away hamburgers with each injection. I got 6 hamburgers last week for free. I kept driving around and around to McDonald's, and I would stop. Have I seen you before? And no. I wanted an injection, and the lady at McDonald's would inject me in my left shoulder and give me a Big Mac, and I'd go and switch cars, and I'd come back, and she'd say, have I seen you before? I'd say, no, and I had a different hat on. She would give me another Big Mac and another injection, and I feel God. I feel good, and I feel God, and God bless America, and God bless Joe Biden, who doesn't smoke marijuana. Joe Biden does not. His son...
Which is very telling, right? If somebody doesn't smoke marijuana, not that everybody needs to smoke marijuana, you can eat it too. But if you're like down on weed, you clearly have some kind of issue. And it's unfortunate.
I got 6 Big Macs. I got 1 Big Mac with fries and a Coke with each injection. And that's what America's all about, Mike.
And if the injection doesn't kill you, the Big Mac will.
Nothing makes you feel better than a Big Mac, and I feel fine. And 80 million votes, Michael, in the insurrection, and you know, people say Kamala Harris looks like a lizard or a reptilian.
Do they say that? Do they say that, really?
All you gotta do is just look on the TV, and it looks like her eyes are changing.
No, I ask you if they say that. Is there actually a discussion going on about that?
David Icke is not allowed on TV, but if he was, he would say that Kamala Harris is a reptilian, and we all know how crazy David Icke is.
He's not crazy. He's not crazy.
He probably smokes marijuana, Mike.
Well, yeah. Again, it comes back to this thing where people who smoke marijuana, you know, I mean, it's like this, it's this way where you know that they're not suffering from this incredible stress. It's like in the Bright Side commercial, you know, these people are like, ah, all aggro, and then they get a little of the sticky icky, and next thing you know, they're cool. It's cool, man, you know?
They don't call it the devil's lettuce for nothing, Michael. It's not like you can go to the store and find marijuana on your Big Mac. You would have to...
I will not eat a Big Mac, so I'm not concerned with that. Never in my life have I had a Big Mac, nor will I.
What's your favorite burger place?
I like the In-N-Out burger. I actually do like the In-N-Out burger.
Well, you know, they have Biden burgers now, Michael.
And the In-N-Out
Biden burgers are so yummy. They make you abide. You're just abiding all day long. One Biden burger and you're abiding all day long. And it's beautiful. And America is a great country. And we really need to remember this. That what do you think about the Juneteenth holiday? What do you think about that? The brand new holiday.
I'm not a medical professional. How many times do I have to tell you people this? I don't have an opinion.
It's a national holiday, Mike. It's not a medical emergency. It's called Juneteenth.
Well, I think that it's beyond ridiculous that Obama didn't do this. Again,
I think it's great myself. Seriously.
Right, but I mean, it's idiotic that Obama didn't do it, right? I mean, you know.
I agree.
And now Joe is somehow, you know, taking credit for this stuff that he hasn't done a damn thing for the African American community in this country. He's been a detriment the entire time that he's so-called public servant. So, you know, we're going to make a holiday for the African Americans.
No. Only Texan Americans who happen to be black. Because the story is that 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation by the greatest president ever to be a human, who also killed vampires, was Abraham Lincoln. And he had this thing, this piece of paper that he sent out in the post offices all over the world called the Emancipation Proclamation, and he made all the slaves free. But they didn't get the letter in Texas. So 2 years later, the black people in Texas realized they'd been free for 2 years, and then it happened on June 19th, 1867, I think. I'm not quite sure, and so I think it's actually a better holiday than Columbus Day, because Columbus was a butcher, and Columbus was a savage murderer of indigenous people. He would enslave people and force them to read the Catholic Bible, rape their women, and kill their children. And that's Columbus, right? Now we got Juneteenth, which is great because it's a holiday in which we can say, where we actually commemorate that slavery was a thing, and it did end, and the ending of it should be, because, black people are people just like brown people and yellow people and pink people and white people, and I think it's okay, because what if it was the pink people that were being enslaved? It wouldn't make a difference.
We're all being enslaved, and you know it.
Yeah, but a little vodka and a vote for Joe Biden, and we can break the slavery and make sure that people don't eat the devil's lettuce, except for on Juneteenth. One day a year, it's okay to eat the devil's lettuce.
It's not okay. Every day of the year it's important to eat cannabis. So,
Well, you eat the cannabis and I'll smoke it. I just smoked a big hit. And I'm actually in favor of Juneteenth. I think if you get serious just for a minute, commemorating this weird Texas occurrence, 2 years after slavery ended, the slaves in Texas realized they were free and I don't really know a lot about the history, but I think it's way better. I think we should get rid of Columbus Day and keep Juneteenth, and don't tear down the statues. I think you don't tear down the General Lee statue because somebody told you it's offensive. I think that's stupid. But there's one particular thing that I won't even say Joe Biden did it. I don't know. It was the left that did it, and I don't think people should be bitching too much, because you know how Obama said we shouldn't look behind and we should look forward, and then he did nothing but bomb people for 8 years. Well, this is a way that we look behind and we get to say shit was fucked up for a long time, and we're going to pick a day and commemorate it, and we're not going to forget about slavery. Now, I happen not to be in favor of reparations. I think that's fucking stupid.
Well, I'm all in favor of a new holiday. I think the people don't get enough holidays, and and this, like you said, this seems like a good one to celebrate. So, I
don't celebrate 4th of July. I mean, I used to like.
I don't celebrate fucking Christmas. I fucking hate Christmas trees beyond what you can imagine, and so, but I still enjoy Christmas,
Now, when I was married, I used to buy a Norfolk Island pine every year.
We don't smoke and we don't drink. Norfolk. What's that now?
And so I would plant I might keep it for 2 years, but eventually I would plant it out in the yard, and all my live Christmas trees, because I was married with kids. And so if you're going to, I think Christmas has turned into American Holocaust of pine trees myself.
Me too.
I really don't like cutting down all these baby pine trees just so people can pretend that Jesus...
I don't care what they want to pretend about. It doesn't matter. It's like you're saying. It's this genocide of little baby trees, which maybe they were planted for that reason, but it's not like you know, it's not, that doesn't make it okay. So, and I've always hated it. I feel like the trees despise human beings at this point. And I've since I was little, man, just like, it's like almost like you take this beautiful thing and then you slowly let it die in a dish of water as you fucking humiliate it with fucking string of lights and fucking candy canes and bullshit.
And tinsel.
Yeah.
And then you could buy a spray can of fake snow.
Yeah.
And that's about the most American thing you can do. You salute the flag, you play Star Spangled Banner, and you spray fake snow on your dying tree from the fucking Holocaust of pine trees that happens every year. And then Mom and Dad, they'll hang stockings by the fire and they'll indoctrinate you with Christmas songs. Christmas time is here, bringing all good cheer. Everyone is crazy now. I throw up at every American holiday. 4th of July, Columbus Day, Christmas. It's like, what the fuck planet did I land on, man? Thank God for my marijuana. So, Juneteenth, I think, is okay. Christmas, fuck. I don't know about you, but I used to run around on Christmas Eve every year trying to buy presents for everybody I should be buying presents for. And finally, I just got sick of it and said, fuck this shit. And I said, no more holidays. And all the dogs that have heart attacks and run around on 4th of July and they're fucking hiding under the patio.
Yeah, I'm really despise that too.
Oh, that's coming up next month, man.
Yeah.
Oh, in a week, 2 weeks. Fucking 2 weeks, you're going to have to do something with your dogs to,
I know what to do.
What do you do?
I get them baked out of their fucking mind, dude. What the fuck you think I do?
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. I don't think I've blown smoke in dogs' noses and tried to get them stoned, but I don't think I've ever really seen a stoned dog.
Try giving them a cookie.
So they get really stoned, and how long does it last in their metabolism? Like what?
It doesn't last that long. I'm currently giving Rufus a regular cookie in the evening, and he's pretty much snapped out of it by morning. But it helps him to relax and get. I'm trying to heal him right now, and I want him to be, loosened up and able to go and do a proper walk and get some vertical and do some double time, and it really seems to help a lot.
I think dogs and dolphins are some of the highest spirits inhabiting animal bodies, and I think some dogs are so conscious and so loving that they might possibly reincarnate. They might reincarnate into a human body next time because they're so fucking loving and human and conscious and so faithful. It's like, why can't I have friends like dogs? All my friends steal my money, they steal my weed, they're fucking my girlfriends, they're smiling in my face. Smile in your face.
Well, those not friends, dude. Those aren't friends. Friends don't do those things.
Maybe I'm making bad choices.
They especially don't fuck your girlfriends. Not unless you said it's okay. Your turn, buddy. No, it's not something that you do to a friend,
But, you know what does irritate me about dogs? Those little poodles that run up and start humping your leg, man. That is irritating. The little fucking poodle. I saw a deer hump a guy's head one time. A hunter. The deer came and started humping the hunter in the head, and his friend had to help him. You can find the video on YouTube. The deer was humping the guy's head, and if that ain't payback.
Yeah.
But I think dogs are awesome, and you can really see almost a human spirit. You know, I think it's accurate. Man's best friend.
Yeah. Well, I always say, dogs are the most unconditional love on the planet. You know, they're just like, you're the center of their universe, and all they care about is, you're home, you're home, you're home. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? I love you. Did I tell you how much I love you? I love you. I love you. I love you.
And then I've been meeting a lot of really sensitive dogs, and the two dogs with albino eyes in a row, one last week and one today, I think. Yeah, today. And they have albino eyes, and I go and I act all dog-like to them, and it freaks them out because they're so sensitive, you know. Then I have to kind of back down and get them to trust me, and, you know, oh, I'm friendly, I'm just playing with you. They haven't realized yet. They're both young dogs with albino eyes, and they haven't realized yet that some humans will play with them just like a dog.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, you know, it makes me think that these dogs are so sensitive, and they're young, and if we mistreat the dogs when they're young, they're not just going to be afraid of humans, they're going to turn mean, or they're going to just live their entire 15 years with their tail between their legs being abused because they're such beautiful souls. So
yeah. You ever seen a dog that pisses every time somebody walks up to it? So sad.
Maybe once.
Yeah.
But not much. Not much.
I just found a movie a couple days ago called Good Dog. I haven't watched it yet, but it's about this woman that gets an emotional support animal, and then everybody who stresses her out in her life, the dog kills them.
I want to get a emotional support Komodo dragon that I can carry in, you know, into the store, you know.
Yeah, you can't do that with the Komodo dragon. You can't carry him. That's a
baby one I could carry. But,
yeah, you know, but they have like salmonella in their mouth. If they bite you, man, it's very fucking dangerous.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Very, very dangerous. It's not like they're poisonous, but they have this bacteria in their mouth that's just really fucked up.
Don't give the FDA any ideas, Mike. They'll be fucking taking the bacteria and the viruses out of a Komodo dragon's mouth, and pretty soon we'll have Dragon 14 or... Dragon
no. It won't come out of their mouth. It'll come directly from somebody having sex with the Komodo dragon. It's not like they would ever do anything like that where they'd build it in a lab. Come on.
What kind of lizard would wear a fucking kimono anyways? You know, what are they, gay fucking lizards?
Well, you have to be awfully cool, you know. I mean, a kimono is pretty heavy duty.
They're not female, though. That's my point. I mean, they're gay lizards from a desert island that like Japanese evening attire, and I think that's fucking weird. Thank God for Joe Biden, because he's going to put an end to all that. But Fauci will take the kimono juice from the dragon and mix it with bat guano and inject it into somebody.
All right, enough. Okay, I don't want to talk about that. Okay? Craig already said you're the one who got us the strike before. Okay, and I'm like 2 weeks away from that strike going away. So.
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
I know.
I try not to.
Tell it to someone who cares.
Oh.
So
I got my coffee. I got my.
Do you have a dog? Have you ever had a dog?
Let me see. My dog was named Wolf, and he was a shepherd mix, big tough fucking dog. I loved him, but I started playing rock and roll, and I left him at my dad's house. Then when I got married, I had 2 red Dobermans, but Dobermans are inbred and their brains grow bigger than their skulls, and then they end up getting epilepsy and they don't have a long lifespan. So I think when I do get a dog, when my baby comes here, she likes dogs. We're going to just go to the pound and pick one out, and I'm not too particular about breeds as long as it's got a good spirit, and so I'm going to get a dog. I never brushed a dog's teeth, I got to tell you that. But,
well, if you get him when he's a little baby, I would recommend that you start with this. You have a sonic care. You know what a sonic care is?
Is that like some kind of gay toothbrush? Or?
It's a very, very gay toothbrush, but it's a very, very it's a device that works very well. And I wish I would have started my dogs on the sonic care when they were little babies, because when I put it in their mouth and turn it on now, their eyes get all big and they fucking run away. So, but it's a brush that goes. It's a toothbrush, human toothbrush that goes at like, 1,500 fucking rotations a second or something. It's just like.
And it doesn't vibrate the dog's brain and make it.
Well, the thing about it is I could probably right now it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to brush their teeth properly, and if I had that, I could probably do it in
5.
a couple minutes each. Yeah.
And is there some kind of paste that comes out of a tube that you apply to the dog's mouth to make it look like it has rabies?
No, but you have to get a special type of toothpaste. You have to get a special type of toothpaste for the dogs, because human toothpaste has this sweetener in it called xylitol or something like that, and it's very dangerous to dogs. So
I think it. Sometimes I brush my teeth in my garden. For years, decades, I've been brushing my teeth in my marijuana garden. 10, 12-foot tall plants. I think once I actually spit it accidentally onto one of my plants, and the fucking plant withered and died in like a day.
Yeah.
So don't brush your teeth. If you are near marijuana, don't spit it onto your fucking plant, because it'll kill the pineal gland in the marijuana plant, and it'll just wither and die. And so I made that mistake.
Well, I wonder if it was the fluoride in the toothpaste, or because I have a toothpaste that's made all out of herbs that I use, and
Uncle Tom's or Dr. Tom's.
No, but I've used that one in the past. This is like the Trader Joe's version of that.
You go to a Trader Joe's in your neighborhood?
I go to Trader Joe's just to buy toothpaste.
No shit.
It's hard. It's hard to find toothpaste without fluoride at the regular store, and they want, like, when you can find it, they want like 3 times as much money as the Trader Joe's. So I just go to the Trader Joe's and I buy 3 tubes of toothpaste, and then I'm good for like a year and a half, something like that.
I find that my pineal gland is so massive and throbbing at such a high vibration that I've got to use fluoride toothpaste just to keep my soul from jumping out of my body and flying into the stratosphere. So I actually enjoy the fluoride toothpaste. It kind of keeps me grounded. And, oh, wow, yeah.
Well, whatever works for you. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional. I just do what I do. That's all.
So can I take a hit live on air?
If you want.
Okay. Have I irritated you sufficiently in this phone call?
In the last 30 seconds? No.
No. I'm actually trying to be semi-serious. But, yeah, I heard the kid. He's a common troll, the last caller.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was headed that direction. But at the same time, I got to say a lot of things that I like saying, so.
Yeah.
Are you just trying to encourage Steve McClanahan?
Is that what he does?
He calls up and says it's you, and then coughs like that.
Yeah, but I don't think he smokes much weed.
Yeah, he does. Not much, not compared to you, but yeah, he smokes.
But he also drinks a lot, man, and everybody's got a different kind of sense of humor. I actually like Steve when he's going straight deadpan, and it's like, nobody could possibly be that stupid. But so, I mean, I try to actually. He's like my hero. I'm emulating.
Well, it's they used to say like the women who played like airhead characters, like they were the smartest women you'd ever meet. The ditzy blondes and stuff. Because it's very difficult to play, this person who's like, hee. It's difficult to play that person, who doesn't have brains. And especially if you don't have brains, because then you're like getting lost in like, La La Land as opposed to playing a character. So.
Yeah, I believe that's true. That some of the ditzy, the most ditzy blonde blonde actresses, the ones that are the best at being dumb, are probably the smartest. And I think self-depreciating humor itself is an indicator of intellect. Some people say there's no EQ, right? IQ is intelligent quotient, EQ is emotional quotient. But some people tell me there is no EQ, because me myself, I think I have a very high EQ. And
yeah, but you also think you have a very high IQ, so.
I think my IQ is above average, but but it's because I'm stimulating my endopotatoid system. So, I mean, all day long at work, I'm cracking jokes all fucking day long. A train goes by, I'm down in Ventura painting an apartment building. Train goes by, I start singing, waiting at the train station, waiting for the train to come take me away, take me from this lonesome town. That's Jimi Hendrix. Hear my train coming all day long.
Okay.
Cracking jokes.
Good.
Trying to be funny, trying to enjoy my life. And I think that's the way to go, is, you know, things are really serious on planet Earth, but that doesn't prevent us from laughing at and mocking the insanity of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and my favorite governor, Gavin Newsom, who happens to be related to Nancy Pelosi. And, you know, technically I think people, they're getting smarter and they're seeing through the psyop more, but they're not being braver. I think when we lost the battle of what was Occupy Wall Street, right? That was a battle worldwide where people were trying to occupy spaces to petition their government to stop fucking shit up, and we lost that battle. They crushed us, and I think from that point on, people just look where we are now. We spent a whole year hiding in our houses. I just got 6 Big Macs and 6 shots in my arm because Uncle Joe, Poopy Pants, Joe Biden said, you know, we got a fucking, Newsom gave us a $1 million prize, you know, like a lottery for the vaccine here.
Yeah, they got that here too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think our bravery quotient has gone down since Occupy Wall Street, but it had such promise. I believed in it so much. I was like, if we keep this up, you know, we might be able to make a change.
Well,
but what did the media say?
Well,
they say,
yeah, the protesters are now domestic terrorists, and
right. They didn't really call us domestic terrorists back in 2011.
Well, yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's exactly what the Obama administration did. They labeled the Occupy protesters as potential terrorists, domestic terrorists, and then they sent the cops in and bloodied their skulls like they were potential terrorists.
And that was our savior, our first black president, derelict Obama.
Yeah, Obama, who while he was running as a presidential nominee or candidate, said, if you go into the streets, I'll be right there standing with you shoulder to shoulder. That's a direct quote, exact quote. And I'll tell you what, I never saw him at one Occupy encampment, that's for sure.
No, it was laughing. It was straight up laughing at us, the American people, who were involved in that movement. And I was so dumb. I was kind of dumb at that time that I went to Occupy LA. We had fucking just thousands of people there, and the cops are right outside of the encampment, which was City Hall. And this big guy, he looked like the Hulk, this cop. I was talking to these 2 cops who were my size. This big guy looks like the Hulk, comes over, and I couldn't believe it. I go, God damn, man, what do? Work out 3 times a day? And he goes, And the guy was a fucking steroid popper, man. It was like he had fucking muscles on his fucking eyebrows. But I was so dumb, I didn't realize that the cops popped steroids like Skittles until another 3 years went by, and I realized, that guy I met, he was a fucking steroid freak. You know, he's probably in a wheelchair now. You know, but he was acting all hot, and the other two cops knew that their buddy was popping steroids or injected, and I don't know, but this guy was built like a fucking Sasquatch, and he's, you know, and they were real cool to us. The cops didn't beat us until the end of the thing, after 1 year.
Yeah, until Obama labeled them as, you know, potential enemy combatants, potential domestic terrorists, and then the cops went in. I mean, it was almost a year. It was like 10 months or 9 months, something like that. And then, man, I remember Scott Olson. Like, I'm never going to forget Scott Olson. And I hope that Scott is doing really, really well, because...
Damage for Life.
Yeah. He was a two Iraq War tour veteran. And in Oakland, he was standing at the Occupy protest. There was a big, huge line of fucking cops, you know, standing shoulder to shoulder. And he was standing in the middle of the street. Everybody else was like 100 feet behind him. He was standing in the middle of the street. He was wearing a no shirt and a pair of shorts and holding an American flag and a peace sign. A two-tour Iraq War veteran holding an American flag and a peace sign, and they thunked a tear gas canister directly off his forehead. Okay, and I'm telling you, it came in like from 100 feet away and went boom, which is what they practice. That is not a coincidence. That is not an accidental shot. That's not a, oh yeah, good one, buddy. That's fucking, this is what we practice for over and over and over again to fucking hurt people. Okay, it's not, oh, we're going to use this tear gas to disperse everyone. It's like, watch me crack this guy's skull in 16 places. Okay, and I've mentioned this again. In last year's summer protest in downtown Seattle, the cops thunked a fucking flashbang grenade directly into a 90-pound girl's chest, stopping her heart immediately. Again, she was standing all by herself in the middle of the street. This is not an accidental shot. This is not, you know, oh, coincidence that it just happened to hit her directly dead center. Okay, this is what they practice to do to fucking hurt people. That is not protect and serve cops in any way, shape, or form.
I think all police departments all over the world, most especially in Israel, are trained to dehumanize the population they're trying to control. And so that's the root of the problem is if you dehumanize another human being, you're saying, I am entitled to take away your human rights because of this badge and this uniform and this shield and my position, and nobody can do shit about it. So my question is, that's 10 years between Scott Olson and right now, 10 years. Have there been any improvements generally in the United States with police violence on the population? What do you think?
No, it's become worse. The comply or die state is, as I put again and again, ever expanding. Which is why it has to be, you know, why, I mean, just legalize drugs and fucking crime goes away. And people want to act like they don't get that. Okay? And you know, look what it's gotten us, okay? We have 50 years of drug war. Look what it's gotten us. The streets are full of crime. It could, I mean, I'm not saying that the streets are full of crime. I apologize. The mainstream media is saying that the streets are full of crime. Okay, and we have this comply or die police state. It's not doing anything. We have this never-ending drug war, which is a war on the American people. It's not doing anything positive. So the best thing you could do is to end these things that aren't doing anything positive for the community. And then hopefully we'll have a reverse effect. instead of there being the streets full of crime, the cops will actually be able to focus on what they need to focus on in order to keep the streets safe, because they haven't done that for a long, long time. They've been fucking with people who grow marijuana, who grow fucking flowers forever.
I am currently out of touch with the street scene. I used to be really in touch with the shit on the street. Now I'm just more like an observer because I don't mingle. I'm not very social.
I gotta take a break.
Yeah, you take a break, Mike. But happy Tuesday.
Okay, it's good to hear from you. Happy Tuesday to you too.
Take care, bro.
Okay, see you soon. All right, so that's our buddy Mike from Southern California. I have a video here about, this one is about the War Authorization Act that apparently they're voting on very soon in Congress. They vote on it every year. This year they're talking about ending it. It's a load of bullshit. Okay, and it was supposed to authorize the war in Afghanistan, and then they used it for war in Iraq, and then they used it for attacking Libya, and then they used it to attack Syria. So as a decade and a half pass, so it's time to end it. It's time to head a better direction. It's time to start, bringing our troops home. Okay, they don't need this fucking never-ending war bullshit, and neither do our neighborhoods, as in the never-ending drug war, completely failed drug war. I will be back momentarily. Just give me a sec.
Lawmakers in the House are expected to vote on the 2002 authorization for use of military force, also known as an AUMF, which is what has allowed us to invade Iraq that year, and Afghanistan and everywhere else. That same AUMF is what gave President Trump the legal authority to kill Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. Politicians are split over whether to renew the outdated policy, with some saying Middle East terror is still a threat. Now the Biden White House signaled it supports getting out of all of these wars. I don't believe him. Even though he helped persuade lawmakers to allow the invasion nearly 20 years ago, is there a chance we're going to get out of here? Joining me now to discuss Iraq war vet, Michigan Republican Congressman, and House Homeland Security Committee member Peter Meyer is back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kennedy. Pleasure.
So what do you think of the AUMF? You were deployed to Iraq for a year, so you have much more experience than some chowderhound like me.
Yeah, I fought under this 2002 AUMF. We haven't used it as the sole authority for any action we've taken since 2011. Though, to your point, it was referenced as a secondary backup authority behind the killing of Qasem Soleimani and also the strike that Biden did on the Syrian-Iraq border at the end of January or beginning of February this year. But this thing's outdated. We have 4 AUMFs on the books. We have the 2001, which underpins our conflict in Afghanistan and our global war on terror. We have the 02, which was for the invasion of Iraq, but hasn't really been used and is unnecessary. We still got the 91 from the Gulf War, and we have a 1957 AUMF from the Eisenhower administration. So we're just trying to, I'm nostalgic like the rest of them. There's some great mid-century architecture, but we don't need mid-century war authorizations out there on the books.
So why not repeal all of them?
So we're repealing, and my bill was to repeal the 57. I co-led with my colleague Abigail Spanberger the 91. I co-sponsored the 2002. All 3 of those should be hitting the floor in the 02 this week, and then hopefully the 57 and 91 soon. The 2001, I think we need to be strategic about that. Obviously, we don't want such a broad authorization. That was Al-Qaeda and associated forces, but we're attacking people who are enemies of Al-Qaeda, which doesn't mean they don't deserve to meet their ends, but enemies of Al-Qaeda, folks that didn't even exist on 9/11, Congress needs to take back its authority and be consulted on this. We shouldn't, if we're making decisions to send our men and women of our armed forces into harm's way, members of Congress can buck up the courage to vote for or against, rather than just relying on these copycat, AUMFs that are rolled over time and time again.
All right, so let me ask you this: what would it take for this Congress to authorize a new AUMF?
Well, it's going to take a lot of deliberation, I'll tell you that, and it's going to take some discipline and focus. I hope to be optimistic and a part of that solution. But if you look at the threats in the world that we're in right now, we still obviously have some terrorism issues
Climate change,
in the Middle East.
Are we gonna declare war on climate change?
I mean, if we do, it'll probably be about as successful as the war on drugs, but we need to be looking at ransomware and hacking and how we are dealing with this not the new cyber threat, but the reality that it's a question of when, not if, American citizens are killed because of these either ransomware or state-sponsored hacking attacks, and we need to have the appropriate framework for that.
Yes.
Because I don't want to see a similar post-9/11 moment where civil liberties are trampled and we're just scrambling. We need to be thoughtful about this.
Yeah, but man, that surveillance, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that is so strangely popular with both parties. And boy, does that need an overhaul. I know that's something that you have spoken about extensively as well. And we're going to have that conversation on another day. Last question, we have 10 seconds. Are you optimistic about the FIFA in Geneva between Putin and Biden? Rocky 4.5.
After we release the sanctions on Nord Stream 2, we need to be stiff, we need to be firm. So I hope that's the case, but I'm preparing to be disappointed.
Me too. Politicians are the worst, no offense. Congressman Meyer, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, again, I don't think it's gonna be stopped. The War Authorization Act. I don't see how it can be stopped when all these 90% of the members of Congress are war profiteers with Cheney, and probably Joe Biden, right? And they want to be able to go to war wherever they want to go to war. That's what they want. They don't want to end the military-industrial complex, for-profit military-industrial complex controls the Congress. So the last thing they're about to do is end the authorization for war. I will bet money on it. So, let's see. I have a music video coming up. We're gonna go see I'm gonna go see my first concert in over a year. First live music in over a year. This Saturday. It's our friend Tyler's band called Steel Beans, and I am really looking forward to it, man. I love live music, like I'm sure most of you, and we were actually looking through concerts last night, talking about going to see Billy Idol, who I've always wanted to see, but they want $80 for the cheap seats, and I don't want to pay $80. So no Billy Idol for me, which I'll survive. So, and what else were we looking at? Alanis Morissette's coming, and I think the Doobie Brothers, and there was a couple other ones. Oh, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar. I'd also like to see Joan Jett, although I'd really like to see Joan Jett. That would be awesome. But whatever, Joan Jett's like $80 or $90 too. Like, fuck for the cheap seats. But I get to go see my buddy's band, Steel Beans, this Saturday. Our first live music in, it seems like forever. So I'm going to play a video of theirs real quick, and I will be back. I hope you enjoy this. It's, again, Steel Beans. So I hope you enjoy it, and it's very psychedelic, very 60s, and I can't wait to see him this weekend. So, boom, Steel Beans.
Where did you get this thing, dude? This is what happens when you order a fucking time portal on Wish. This is bullshit. That painting sucks. Alright, whatever. This is I don't feel it.
Hey, Find Sean's car keys and get back to Everett.
and now we're in the desert, and now what?
I wasn't sure if that was the end. I'm really looking forward to seeing them on Saturday night. Steel Beans. Craig said he put a link in the text, so if you guys want to see their website or whatever, they are the lead singer is a very, very artsy guy. He has a bunch of videos on YouTube, and when I meet him on Saturday, I'm going to ask if we can use a couple of his one-man show pieces on our show, because it's nice to have something that's not just news. I'm so tired of the news. I apologize to you guys. I just feel like everybody must have enough news by now. It's like, no more, please. At the same time, I try and give you things that are actually of interest, that might start a conversation, or, actually give you something informative, or something you might not have heard of before, or something that you really want to know more about. Hopefully we can have a discussion about it. Hello, caller.
Hey, this is Dave from Minnesota. How's it going?
Okay, Dave from Dave, right?
Yep, Dave.
How's it going, Dave? How are you doing?
Pretty good. I was just listening to that song you played. It sounded pretty groovy, man.
Yeah, we're going to see them live on Saturday night. It's the first concert I've been to in what seems like forever, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Very nice. Yeah, I haven't been to it in a long time either, but one of those seems like you want to bring your friend Sid along for that kind of party.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big believer.
I understand. Yeah, man. I'd love to go see I wish Pink Floyd was still around. I'd love to go see the Dark Side of the Moon album. That album's awesome in a laser light show too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Roger Waters is touring this year, from what I understand. We saw him a couple of years ago, and they had the big flying pig in the auditorium. I can't remember what else. It was an inside concert, so I was really surprised to see it. But they built a wall. They did all kinds. They had the giant teacher, doing the puppet show. It was visually, it was pretty cool. And Roger Waters is as good as he's as great as there ever comes. So,
right.
Yeah.
I wanted to come to Minnesota to go find what they are. Man, I was calling today because I saw that the For the People Act got a vote on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
It was knocked down in party lines 50-50. They couldn't overcome the filibuster.
Yeah.
And then Senator Sinema was basically saying that she wouldn't be willing to do away with the filibuster to pass this huge, like once in a lifetime kind of voting reform. I'm just really pissed off. I don't know how we can get our government to change. If they had passed this, it would have really fixed a lot of things here, probably in the medium term. I mean, it would have stopped. It would have put public financing of elections, and bribery, basically, or dark money. It would have.
There's no way you're going to end bribery and dark money. I mean, you might be able to make kind of level the playing field a little tiny bit, but cash speaks, man, and it's not trackable. So.
Yeah, but at least would have made it illegal so that I mean, they do kind of track $100 bills, don't they, with those strips in them?
I guess so. I guess so. I guess that's correct, but I don't think that this is that kind of reform is possible. Honestly, in a bill or a law, I think that they can talk about it, and I just don't think they want that either. It's like talking about ending the filibuster. I don't want to end the filibuster. I want government to basically, be kind of stymied. I'm tired. They make fucking 47,000 laws a year. I've had enough of it. I want them to, to start ending these stupid laws, like the War Authorization Act. They're talking about ending that, right? I want them to end the fucking war on drugs. I want them to. And I agree as far as the voting and the dark money goes. I've said again and again, we should make foreign lobbyists illegal. There's no reason why we should have foreign lobbyists in our country, and And I think that the whole country should have a mail-in kind of ballot thing, because, or maybe...
Yeah, this basic, this bill would register every American to vote.
Yeah.
It ends gerrymandering, like in every state, Republican and Democrat states. If you were donating like large sums of money to campaigns, it'd have to be public knowledge. Like it'd be on the internet somewhere, wherever it got donated to, you know where this money was coming from.
That sounds like a good thing.
How it's coming from. Yeah, it's the best voting rights bill America has ever had. I was actually extremely surprised at how it's passed it with, Nancy Pelosi leading in. She takes so much money for the Democrats. I was really surprised they passed it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were just doing it to, throw the Senate and watch it die because, Mitch is like, nothing's going to happen to America while I'm here.
Well, yeah, that's the way it is. There's this theater about, oh, look, we accomplished this, and oh, no, they won't let us do it. They know that they don't have the votes to do it, but they can look like, oh, look what we did, but, it's never going to go anywhere. And we see that happen again and again and again. So,
yeah.
I would never...
It was kind of like a theater today, I think, because it was like, Schumer brought it to a vote on the floor, and it was 50-50, and they couldn't block it past the parliament. They couldn't, basically, I guess they can do a vote to end debate, but then you have to somehow, get around the parliamentarian or something, or get rid of the filibuster. And Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema aren't willing to do that. And I was like, man, Chuck Schumer, you should just, offer him, $100 billion for West Virginia. That state's been so underdeveloped for my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And Arizona's just fucking crazy down there right now. They're doing they're on the 10th ballot count, I've heard. They spent over $250,000. Just recently sent the voting machines off to Montana to look at them. They were x-raying them for bamboo fibers to see if China somehow brought some ballots in. And then that guy, Greg Palast, actually went to...
Greg Palast, yeah. He's a journalist. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He actually went down to the offices in Florida where this company was hired to do this vote audit, and it's just a shell company kind of thing where it's an office space rented, and there's no one in there. It was there's the lights out, no desk, no nothing. He said, and it's just it's insane. It's these games these politicians play to disenfranchise American voters. Greg was actually working on something where in Florida they passed a law where anyone could say they've got personal knowledge that a voter shouldn't be registered to vote because of some reason or another. Some lady who was Canadian who just got her citizenship 5 years ago came ahead with a list of 32,000 voters to be taken off the voting rolls because some think tank in Texas found that people with the same name had felonies. So the whole system is just messed up.
Yeah, no, they did that. I remember in another election where they said a bunch of people were convicted felonists or whatever. So I think that if somebody's done their time, paid their price for a crime, you should not allow them to participate in our government or whatever, our elections.
Or a workforce.
Yeah, because if you make them separate from us, from being part of a productive part of society, let's say, then what other choice do they have but to turn back to whatever to make money? We all have to make money, whatever, So at least that's what they tell me.
Private prison racket is awful too. It's I guess in the 13th Amendment, if you're convicted of a felony or something, they can basically treat you like a slave and make you work with pennies on the dollar, which is insane to me. I thought slavery was dead here. We get this Juneteenth now, and it's well, maybe that's when they said they were free, but, I can prove to you right now what's going on in America in these private prisons.
It's easy to prove, and it's unfortunate that no one seems to care. This is, this is horrible what's happening in our prisons. And a big part of why it's happening is there is no mental health support during this major mental health crisis. And And the people that are really suffering the most from mental health issues in prison are just getting abused on a daily basis. And it's disgusting that we want to act like some kind of a modern civilization and treat our citizens in such a horrific manner.
Yeah, I mean, remember that Michael Moore movie where they showed like what prison was like in Norway? It's like an apartment complex, and it's like, well, this one he went to was like on an island, and they had all these like activities and counselors and things to do to keep yourself busy. They had TVs, computers in their room. It's like, holy crap, man. I wish our prison system was like, focused on rehabilitation rather than just, making as much money as you can off these slaves that you're housing in your, buildings that are crap and run down with no heating or air conditioning and crappy food.
Yeah. Bologna sandwiches and pink underwear and fucking people getting beat up and fucked and raped and, I mean, instead of, like you're saying, having this, decent place to be and think about changing their life and the bad choices that they've made that led them to this fucking, place where they're not able to do, not able to have freedom. So, as opposed to this place where they're surrounded by these horrible people that, a bunch of them are never going to get better because they're not having the proper help, and then they're being taught, they're being injected into a criminal element, and then they're going to glean a lot of information off that criminal element, because this is a big part of what people do in prison is tell war stories. Right? So it's going to be, oh yeah, we did this, and then people go, how did you do that? And then be like learning how to be better criminals, and that's really fucked up. That is not the justice system we want.
Well, I mean, what are these people going to do? They get out and they go get a job for maybe $7.25 an hour? Like, you can't even get a rent done. You can't even get rent in most major cities at that. So
No.
it's like, what are these people supposed to do? I mean, no one's going to want to even rent to a felon in the first place. So it's like you basically are making these people outcast and sidelined, and they're. I mean, if I couldn't live and I couldn't get shelter and I was forced to live on the street, I'd probably turn back to a life of crime if I'd just come out of prison, or fuck, I just want to go back to prison so I get some food and a roof over my head, which is what I hear a lot of people go back to prison for in the first place.
Yeah, I had a person who was. I was managing a furniture store at one time, and the owner of the furniture store was actually a prison guard, and he was the guy that would listen to the prisoners' phone conversations, right?
Yeah.
And he would call me, or he would call me, and then he'd be like, oh, I gotta listen to this, give me just a minute, and I would be able to hear what the people are saying, right? This person in prison is saying, oh, don't worry, Mom, all my friends are here, and I get clean clothes, and I get to eat food 3 meals a day, and it's like, all my friends are here, it's just like, I mean, I think you're right, a lot of people, they get out of prison and then they don't know how to fucking make anything happen, anything good happen, so they go back to prison and they can get food and whatever there, shelter.
Yeah, I mean, you can look it up on the internet right now, like what's the minimum amount of money you have to make to rent like a studio apartment in your state, or at least in the major part of your state, and it's nowhere near $7.25. So it's like I'm so pissed off, honestly, that the Democrat Party screwed over Bernie Sanders again, and we aren't able to pass any of his legislation. I mean, most of his ideas are popular by both sides, like Republicans and Democrats, even independents. And we can't get his legislation passed because of, political bribery and, dark money in our political system.
Well,
For the People Act they voted on today would have fixed a lot of that problem, or at least made a lot of that shit illegal.
Right. Well, but that's the thing.
Drive people outside of the country.
That's the thing. I know you're wanting this law, and this is what we're talking about. I was saying about not making it better. These people in the upper echelons of both parties are just as corrupt as anyone can possibly be. So Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, beat Joe Biden in the election to become the nominee, just like he beat Hillary Clinton. And again, you were talking about the recount and all this stuff. our elections have been very fucked up for a very long time. You know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz conspired as the head of the Democratic National Committee. She conspired, the DNC, she conspired with Hillary Clinton to defeat Bernie Sanders, and a whole bunch of other people did too. And she's the worst possible candidate to go up against anybody because she's one of the most despised figures in American political history. I'm telling you, you could put up a poll that said, who would you rather have for president, Hillary Clinton or Osama bin Laden, and people would pick Osama bin Laden.
You know, I read things online that said that Obama was a CIA asset and that they could have taken him out a couple of times. Like, he had dialysis and they found him in a hospital once on a machine. So I wonder if that whole thing was just a, you know, some kind of weird false flag operation bullshit.
You know, I think, again, this comes back to this thing where it's going to get better because, we have the right people in charge now. You know, and I just don't think it's going to get better until we send all these motherfuckers to prison, you know. And I know that just sounds like it can't be done. At the same time, if we could all recognize the common enemy, okay? It's so weird. The Black Lives Matter people know who the problem is. They know it's the government. The Trump voters know who the problem is. They know it's the government. You know, the Second Amendment people know it's the government. Whoever it is, the drug war people, the activists, the cannabis legalized activists. The problem is the government. We all know that. So why can't we just forget our petty differences and recognize the common enemy that is truly holding us down and the only real threat to our freedom? Come on, you people, wake up!
I mean, yeah, it's like these representatives and senators get in office, and the longer they're there, the more they get bribed, and the more they sell to Americans for their own personal profit. So, I mean, I wish that, you know, Americans could just, you know, invade our government and take it over. I mean, we can make it work for us, but obviously right now it's not because of the way that, you know, like the Senate, it's run by the Senate Majority Leader. No bill gets to the floor of the Senate unless he schedules it.
Yeah.
Same thing in the House.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got the heads of our Congress that are controlled by people who we know are bribed. Both those people take lots of money from rich corporations.
Yeah.
Multinational corporations who have no allegiance or patriotism to the United States.
Yeah.
And we just get screwed here. It's a race to the bottom. We're trying to see if we can pay our people less than they pay people in China, basically.
And those people that you're talking about, Schumer and Pelosi, who they decide what comes to the floor to be voted on. Those people aren't just taking money from the whatever military industrial complex or whoever, you know, like you said, country, whatever companies it is that they're taking money from, and other organizations. The thing about them is that they're fucking dinosaurs. Okay? And they're never going to come up with a fucking new idea that's going to move us boldly into the 21st century. They're going to be like, oh, this is how we did it in the 70s, so we do it that way now. You know, it's not, they're not good leaders. And they're certainly not a representation of where the country wants to be moving. So, again, we just have to recognize the real enemy. And every member of Congress is the threat, the only threat to your freedom. Not Iran, not China, not Russia, not white domestic, what do you call them? Let's see, white supremacists. That's not the biggest threat to your freedom. The only real threat is in Washington, D.C. and your local governments and their ever-expanding police states. I'm sorry, comply or die police state.
Yeah, 100% true. 100% true. I mean, and I just don't see how it's going to change. Like, you can't revolt against the government in a violent way and then do anything about that. Their weapons are too great. The numbers are too great.
Yeah, we don't have to do that.
The UN.
We don't have to do that.
People don't make enough money and don't have the health care to show up in Washington, D.C. and do it peacefully.
Yeah, we don't have to do that.
10 million man march.
We don't have to do that. Well, all we have to do is, again, recognize the common enemy, come together in agreement to defeat that common enemy, and then sit the fuck down. Say, yeah, we're not buying your shit. We're not buying gasoline. We're not. I mean, you buy groceries, you know, that's about it. We're not buying a fucking thing off of Amazon. Okay? Jeff Bezos can suck my motherfucking dick until we get what we fucking want. Okay? And if Jeff Bezos, you know, if everything shuts down on Jeff Bezos in America, that sets up a whole fucking line of shit that's going to go sideways, because, you know, he's got one boat after another boat after another boat coming in, and if they don't got warehouses that moved all that previous stuff out, you know, he's going to get fucked really fast. So Jeff Bezos is going to be, you give those people whatever the fuck they want. And speaking of people who have senators in his pocket, you know.
Yeah, isn't he the richest man on the planet, or second or third or something? He's up there. He can do anything he wants.
Yeah, and it's like I said, we don't have to do some kind of a violent revolt. We don't have to stand up against a heavy armed Pentagon. All we have to do is agree to come together and then sit down. You know, we're not going to work. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Fuck you all. We've already proved that we can fucking stay home for a goddamn year. We just showed you. And this time, we're not going to buy no shit off Amazon. So let's watch where all your fucking stock market goes then.
So you're saying just do like a home sit-in where you just stop purchasing.
Yep.
Anything.
Well, we go to the store, you know, when we got to have gasoline, we get gasoline, but we're not going anywhere. We're not going shopping. We're not doing any shopping online, you know, and it's that agreement that gives us back the power. Right now, the rich people have all the power, the military-industrial complex, all the power. The for-profit medical industrial complex, huge amounts of power. This is the reason cannabis is illegal. We say enough is enough, and here's our list of demands, and we mean right now, you know. And like I said, we've already proved that we can fucking stay at home with all the goddamn restaurants closed, all the fucking whatever closed, and, you know, and we just basically go to the grocery store. We've already done this. It's not that hard. We can do it again.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if I just didn't do anything,
well, it's not going to last a year. It's not going to last a year. Yeah, like I said, Jeff Bezos has stuff that has to click into place like this. So it's not going to last a year. If it lasted a month, it would hurt. It would hurt so bad. Okay, so
most people like have no knowledge though of politics and just don't care. How are we going to get a message to enough people and convince them to even do like a plan like this?
Well,
people just don't pay attention. They care more about the latest reality show TV or someone's, you know, hot body or
I like hot bodies
coming out.
I like
I do too, but like that's not more important than like, you know, like politics. It's like they make all the rules in our lives that fuck us up and keep us down and hold us back and send all the money to the families in power that have been there forever.
I agree. At the same time, as you're saying, there's very little that we can do about it. So if that's where we're at, then maybe a hot body does matter more than politics, because there's nothing we can really do about politics.
So we should embrace the hot potties, but make them also political.
Well, what I'm saying is you enjoy what there is to enjoy, and you don't let some politics get in the way of that. And then hopefully we'll be able to make politics happen at the right time, because right now I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. So
yeah, I mean, look at, let's say, the Dixie Chicks who came out in favor of, I think, a Democratic Party when they're more of like a country music singer and the red state kind of person, and they almost got destroyed. Like, they weren't being played anymore. People were burning their albums. It's just, I don't see the light in that tunnel too, and I've been trying to find it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the string to pull to get us to where we need to be, and I'm not seeing it yet. I'm still not seeing it. I've been looking for 20, 30 years now, and I still haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I've been doing nothing but this for the last 20 years, so I get it. And I've been looking real hard for that light at the end of the tunnel. I've done everything I can to bring as many people along with me, and it hasn't really gotten us anywhere. I mean, it really hasn't, and it's so sad because I mean I've reached so many people. Somebody was talking about how the CIA just seized all these Iranian websites and like Press TV, and my work on YouTube has been on Press TV multiple times. It was on Iranian state television one time. Where they played the video, and you could see, I put the URL under the video. You could clearly see it was one of my posts. And the title of the post was, The Douchebag Doesn't Fall Far from the Tree, as in the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that was the title of the video, and they played it on Iranian state television, which I love. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you keep doing it. I'll let you go and grab someone else, but I appreciate you chatting.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, Dave, and I hope you call back soon.
Okay.
Stay cool. Stay cool. We'll get through it.
Yeah, I'll try.
Don't overlook those hot bods, man. They're worth a minute.
I do love the part.
Keep up the good work. All right, so that's Dave, and let's see. I have one video left, so if you want to play that video, we can play that video, and let's do that. I'll be right back. I have a video here about murder hornets, and this will give you a chance to call if you want to call. The number is 805-669-6397, 805 MOX News. My last video clip. I'll be back momentarily.
They're back. The Asian giant hornet spotted once again here in Washington. The Washington State Department of Agriculture says they've confirmed the first sighting of the so-called murder hornet right in Snohomish County.
Yeah, not good, right? In fact, it's the first time it's actually even turned up all year. Well, now local beekeepers are weighing in on the dangers. Q13 News reporter China Green has that story tonight.
Eli Ochiltree is a master beekeeper.
Oh, the hornet's looking for the front entrances. It goes right in the front entrances.
And director of Snow King Beekeepers Association in Snohomish County.
And watching them all interact and what they do through the seasons, it's a lot. It's farming on a mini scale.
Which is why her anxiety started buzzing.
This could explode.
When she heard a resident found a deceased hornet near Marysville and submitted a report on the evening of Friday, June 4th. The Washington Department of Agriculture says it likely came from the 2020 season, and due to DNA testing and the color variation of the dead male hornet, it appears to be unrelated to the Asian giant hornet in Canada and Whatcom County found last year.
They slaughter entire hives in hours. These things are huge. They're 2 inches. It's incredible. 2 inches and bright orange.
This week, she was contacted by the Washington State Department of Agriculture to hand out traps to those in her association.
It's about a 2-quart bottle, I think, and clear, like you get juice in, bottle. And every week, for 22 weeks, you're going to refill with 4 ounces of orange juice and 4 ounces of cooking wine.
Once you trap one, you take a pic and send it to WSDA.
The WSDA, the trapping program, they can come out, they can put markers on the bees, and they actually want one alive if they can get it, because they can put the little trackers on it and fly it out and start finding where the hive is.
She says if she sees one, she'll take a picture. If she sees more,
okay, that's kill mode, and they can come out and pick up the dead bodies and get somebody out here, because more will be back.
She couldn't imagine losing a whole hive like someone did in Whatcom County last year.
I can't imagine that. After you stop crying and you called everybody for comfort and support.
But she would start all over for the love of the bees.
You recover. But they're animals, they're living beings, they're part of nature, they're part of us.
China Green, Q13 News.
Hey, you can do your part if you want to get involved in protecting bees from the possibility of more Asian giant hornets. Reach out to the State Department of Agriculture.
All right, so this murder hornet thing, right? I've been thinking about this, right? And it's like this thing where, oh, let's see, what are people afraid of? What can we scare people with next? We got them with the terrorist. We got them with the white supremacist. We got them with this. We got them with that. What are people really afraid of? Oh, I know, they're afraid of bugs. Ooh, yeah, biting bugs, biting. Ooh, we could, what can we do with biting? Ooh, flying, biting bugs. Oh my God, you can't even begin to stop a flying, biting bug. I know, a stinging bug. Oh my God, a giant flying stinging bug. Oh, they're called giant Asian hornets, right? Which something tells me they're probably called something different in Asia. Giant Asian hornets, which wasn't good enough that they're giant and that they're hornets. We have to make them murder hornets. Oh my God, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Murder hornets. It just sounds like there should be scary music, scary, intense music. There's going to be a horror movie coming out anytime soon that's about murder hornets. I would bet on it. Murder hornets. And then another story that we played in the last 10 days or so, they called them killer murder hornets. So, again, it's like looking around going, okay, what are people afraid of? What can we get? How what's another way we can generate fear? And this one seems to work. I think this will work for us. What do you people think? It seems to work at least a little bit. But it's just such a big, like, it's like a Mad Magazine kind of fucking joke on top of all this other garbage that we're being spoon-fed on a daily basis. It's like, oh, and don't forget the murder hornets. I mean, if Mad Magazine, is Mad Magazine still around? If Mad Magazine is still around, I will bet you they put murder hornets on the cover anytime soon. Because they put everything else on the cover. It's always been something brilliant, in my opinion, and it's something that I enjoyed a lot when I was younger. So I hope it's still around. All right, so that's all my videos for tonight, and I gave you a chance to call. I gave you more than one chance to call. So we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow, same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is gonna end. Stay cool till then. Thanks for tuning in.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together, and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together, and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together, and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of MOX. MOXnews.com.